Hello everyone, my name is Mayank Noni. I'm an IT evangelist with over 18 years of experience in the IT industry, and I simplify technology for you. So today I'm back with a very interesting topic, product selections and vendor lock-ins. So last week I was attending a webinar, and in that webinar one of the CISOs raised a very familiar topic that for delivering a similar service, I have more than a dozen of softwares available in the market or platforms available in the market. How do I know which one is the best for my particular deployment? Secondly, how do I escape from the vendor lock-ins? So as I said before, these questions are very familiar, and most of us would have certainly come across them in our career. So I had my own take on these questions and I contributed as well. So this is what I did. So when we go and select a product, the first question that would come to our mind is, what do I select out of product A, B, C, and D? Well, you might not find the answer very binary, and it might sound a bit political or diplomatic, but it is what it is. All of the products are good, and the reason why I say so, they're there in the market because they are good and they have their own audience, they have their own personas who are using it. So the first question is, before selecting a product, I need to classify the personas who are going to use it. Is it meant for the developers? Is it meant for the infra admins? So as long as I have the personas clearly charted out, I would be able to further drill down into the right products for them. The second question that I must ask myself is, do I have enough skill sets in-house to manage that product? This is very important because I might get the best product in the class, but if I do not have enough support in-house to support it, it would be a complete disaster. The adoption plays a vital role as well. If I'm managing a product and that product is meant for a particular group of users, for example, I come up with a cloud management platform, right? But the users are more comfortable with using the native tools, cloud native tools. They might not adopt it as well, right? That would result in a disaster as well. So in order to avoid such situation, I must chart out the personas and the key drivers. Why am I getting this product? Is it solely driven by cost, or I'm looking for a replacement because of some key pain areas? That factor has to be charted out very clearly as well, so that you do not end up with the same shortcomings with the new product. So that is how, so these are not very conclusive points, but these are just the starters. All these points must be kept in mind while you're selecting a product. I'll quote an example. So when it comes to hypervisors, there are a good number of hypervisors available in the market. All of them are doing exactly the same job, right? But I may or may not have the expertise to manage the best hypervisor available out there. So what do? I have two options. One is I train the existing resources, or probably I buy a software or a hypervisor which sort of coincides with the skill set of my existing resources. That's also a very important point to consider, right? Thereafter, I may also look at the possibility, or rather a roadmap of what exactly I'm going to do with this hypervisor for 5 years, right? Another very important point that we should all take care of, or rather consider, while deciding on the new product is a POC or a POV, a proof of concept or a proof of value. What do I mean by saying that is, get the product or the platform in your environment, try it out with your data to see how exactly it functions, and do focus on your roadmaps. Probably with your roadmap for this year, it works fine. But as your data grows, or as your roadmap grows, it may not. So try to consider your at least 2 to 3 years of activities or roadmap while you're doing the POC. That is a big help as well. Another important topic that was raised was the vendor lock-in. Well, we'll have to shift the conversation of vendor lock-in to the value adds. because in one way or another, we'll get locked with the vendor. It is unavoidable. So the conversation has to focus on the value that particular product is bringing to the table. So if I do not know what exactly is the value the product is going to bring to the table, as I said before, go back to the product selection criteria and see whether it really fits the bill or not. If not, then probably it is just a market hype. So it's not a uncommon thing to see products being adopted solely by the market hype, right? That is how it works. But in order to make sure that it's a purpose fit software, product, or a platform, we must undergo a couple of questions that I have shared before, plus a POC to confirm that it is really a good fit. As far as the vendor lock-in is concerned, let's go back to our previous example of hypervisors. When you move from hypervisor A to hypervisor B, the migration may not be as seamless as it seems. It is just a hypervisor example. When we talk about other platforms or cloud, for example, right, the migration is never easy. So definitely an exit strategy solely revolves around the data. Wherever the data gravity is, the adoption will lean towards that particular platform. So the strategy should be to diversify the application across multiple platforms of your choice. Definitely, it is something that is avoidable due to the cost factors associated with it, but it is a fine balance between what we want. Because I have seen situation wherein the architect would over-engineer the solution in order to stick to or meet the vendor agnostic guidelines. So the end result is that the entire architecture is extremely complicated, very hard to operate, and a complete failure and disaster at the end of the life cycle, which is solely driven by the fact that the value adds were not considered. Instead, we stick to a particular topic of avoiding vendor lock-ins. So these are a couple of factors which would influence our selection of a product. Plus, it gives you a holistic overview of what do we do with vendor lock-ins. I'm sure this was informative. If you have any other additions to what I've just discussed, please feel free to post them on the comment. I'll be reading all of them. Till then, thank you so much. This is Mayank Noni. See you soon in another video.